Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So today I want to talk to you about a simple process for navigating the emotional and also practical aspects of downsizing, decluttering, and starting over in your 60s. So face it, the thought of decluttering and starting over in your 60s can be downright scary and overwhelming. Not knowing is one of the hardest parts though. So what do you have for a vision for the life that you want? Where will you live? What kind of lifestyle do you want? How do you even start that process of downsizing and decluttering? And how can you possibly let go of the house that you raised your children in? And then how to deal with all of those emotions associated with the downsizing and decluttering. So these are just a few of the questions that you might have at this stage of your life. You know, your kids are grown, they've left your nest, you are facing retirement, you know, what to do next in that next act. And maybe you're newly widowed or divorced or facing, you know, these life decisions on your own. Or maybe you're starting to see and also feel some of the effects of aging. And you realize that your life is, you know, transitioning, and you probably need to declutter and downsize, but you're just not sure. So living a simpler life with less stress, less stuff, having more time, money, freedom, energy is really appealing. And you've worked hard and you've been successful, and you deserve to live that best life at this stage of your life. But you're filled with mixed emotions. On one hand, you know what's practical and what you should do. Probably you should downsize to a smaller home that's more manageable, or renovate your existing home to age in place. And maybe on that same hand, decluttering and paring down your excess possessions is probably a good idea, to let go of what you've been holding on to, so that you can lighten your load and also lighten the load of your kids after you're gone. But on the other hand, downsizing and selling your home that your kids grew up in is very emotional. And the thought of selling and moving to a new home is just too exhausting and overwhelming and scary. So decluttering and sorting through the years of accumulation is not only daunting, but it's also emotionally draining. And so you might be saying, I'm afraid I'll lose all of those precious memories. So the bottom line is, you might be afraid of change, and you might be afraid of the unknown. So what you have to do to make that mental shift from the short-term pain of downsizing and decluttering, and do what it takes for the long-term gain of living a simpler, richer, more abundant life with less. And that would be downsizing and decluttering your way to that richer, happier life. So how do you navigate all of those emotions? So I've created a list. I'm calling it the Downsizing Designer's process for navigating the emotions of downsizing, decluttering, and starting over in your 60s. So number one is to think positive. You know, our brains automatically go to the hard part, right? But if you want to, and if you're definitely considering downsizing and decluttering, starting over, number one, start thinking positive. So when you change how you look at things, the way you look at things change. You've probably heard that expression before, but how true that is. So focus on the positive aspects of downsizing and decluttering and starting over. You know, that you have a simpler life with less stuff, less stress, more time, money, freedom, and energy to pursue the things that matter most to you. Maybe your life will be more manageable, you have more space, and more suitable to your age. And then also, when you reframe your thinking from it's too hard, I can't, or I'm afraid, to being into a more optimistic mindset of being excited about a new life and an experience ahead of you. The benefits in that next chapter are far outweigh the overwhelm that you might be experiencing at this stage of the game. So number two is know why you want to or need to declutter, downsize, and start over. Everyone has different reasons and unique circumstances that cause them to consider downsizing, decluttering, getting a fresh start. So know why you want to declutter and start over. So knowing why will not only help you move forward with much more of a commitment, but it will also help you stay motivated when you really want to quit. So if we're looking at the financial part of your why, so downsizing and decluttering can save you money with fewer possessions, smaller space, the living expenses. So for instance, your maintenance, your taxes, your utilities, insurance, all of those things likely will be less if you live in a smaller home. Number two, a reason that you might want to be downsizing and declutter is be near your family. So as you age, being near your family can certainly enhance your overall experience and well-being and your happiness, but it's also a time to celebrate family experiences together, say with your children, your grandchildren. And it could also be a time to lean on them, and maybe they could lean on you for assistance when you need help. And then another reason that a lot of people downsize and declutter is a new lifestyle. So when you finally have more space, time, and freedom and energy, you will have an opportunity to design a life that best suits you for right now. And then another reason people downsize and declutter and also start over is a fresh start. Sometimes just a new beginning. It's just an opportunity for you to begin again after divorce, after loss of a loved one. It's time to create a life that you want now at this stage of the game, according to what's happening. And then the last reason might be health, well-being, and also your happiness. So decluttering and downsizing is cathartic. It's a chance to travel, to lighten the load, to create more space for what you want to do next. So then a third reason for people to downsize and declutter is, get rid of the emotions is, how do you get rid of emotions, is to create your own vision for what's next. So what do you want? What don't you want at this stage of the game? And I'm talking about right now. What would make you happy right now? Where would you want to live? What type of lifestyle? What do you want to be doing and with whom? And what you need and what don't you need at this stage of the game. So this new vision should reflect on what's most important to you at this stage of the game, at this stage of your life, and being clear about what that vision is, because it's going to help you make future decisions. And as life changes, so must we. And that's a hard reality sometimes, but it is something that we have to deal with. And number 4 way to maybe manage your emotions during the downsizing, decluttering, and starting over process is to set new goals. And let those be based on your new vision for the life that you want in this third act. So start with the end in mind. What will you be doing on an average day? With whom? What kind of vacations do you want to be taking? Where and with whom? And where will you be living? In a 55-plus community, a condo, beach house, whatever it is. Those are the kind of things that you can create your own vision. And when that vision is solid, all the decisions just get so much easier. And when you look forward, imagine that you are already there. You're already living that life. Number 5 way to overcome emotions when you're downsizing and decluttering is have an action plan, a timeline to accomplish those new goals. So remember, without action, nothing happens. And when you know why you want to downsize and declutter, start over, when you have a vision and goals for doing that, obviously you have to act. So acting on those creates the momentum. It's exciting and invigorating because you see progress and you realize it is possible. So when it comes to downsizing, remember that downsizing is not downgrading. In fact, when you live small, you can have it all. So it's an easier lifestyle that's simpler, more manageable, and in many ways more meaningful, and it is attainable. So create your own to-do list. It might include researching, number one, budget. Number two, researching where you want to live, lifestyle you want. Visit those areas and also talk to people who have already downsized and decluttered. See what their life is like. And then obviously, getting a real estate agent and that kind of thing. But create your own to-do list. And then decluttering. Decluttering and paring down years of accumulated items you no longer want or need is definitely, excuse me, I'm sorry, cathartic. There are many reasons to declutter at this stage of our life, not the least of which is to not leave it up to your kids to take care of everything after you're gone. So choose to start decluttering now. Decluttering does take time. On average, it takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months, but it could take up to a year depending on how much stuff that you have. And to alleviate some of the emotions of decluttering, remember, you don't have to give it all away. Just the things that you no longer need or use, no longer love. So keep only those things that you love. Another way to stay motivated is to gather a helpmate or a team to help people, have people help you in that process. And then, I'm so sorry, other tips to relieve emotions or focus on giving back by donating the things that you no longer want that someone else could definitely use. So starting over in your 60s, a different kind of challenge. You challenge yourself to embracing the concept of starting completely over. And so sometimes if you've gone through a divorce or death of a spouse, retirement, job loss, or empty nesting, each one of those is an emotional transition. But challenge yourself to think positive about it and challenge yourself to embrace this time of your life and say yes to life. So, and then certainly let go of the past so you can create a happier new life in this next chapter. And then focus your vision and your goals. Focus on this vision and on those goals. You might be scared, but there's such a thing as a good scared. It's like living on the skinny branches, stepping out of your comfort zone, but then actually enjoying the process, and even though you're a little bit scared. And number 6, to manage your emotions, is to gather your team. So surround yourself with people who will support you, encourage you, and be your cheerleaders, especially when the going gets tough. During the process, it's called the messy middle. Many people want to quit. That's when your team and your teammates will help you celebrate those wins and help encourage you during the difficult times. Number 7 is to track and measure your progress regularly. When you're in that messy middle of downsizing, decluttering, sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees. To stay motivated, and not get discouraged, take before and after pictures, revisit your vision, your goals, your action plan, and also your timeline, and just check in, see how you're doing with that. And then another thought is to decide. Don't let indecision and decision fatigue hold you back. Number 8 is have an attitude of gratitude. So celebrate how far you've come, the new life that you're growing into. And number 9 is share your story. You never know just how much your story might benefit someone who's just starting the process of downsizing, decluttering, and starting over. They might be in the middle, and they might be stuck, and they might really be discouraged. So your story might make the difference for them. So please share your story among your friends and family. And if you'd like to share it with me, because if I have your permission, I would be glad to share your story on our social media channel, which we have many, many followers. So anyway, and if you want to email it to me, it's Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com. Just make your story concise and some key points about what you went through and how you challenged yourself to think positive, stay positive during the entire process. I hope this helps.